Okay, so good morning, afternoon, it's still morning, 10 a.m., 11:21, 2024. So, I have the wiring diagram here. I'll go through it on video, probably easier to break down. So, it's just the battery, and this is a 970 cranking amp, 790 cold cranking amp. Started to go through and mark everything. Here's the positive, there's the negative. There's three things coming off the positive, but first big thing will come down to the inverter, which is not big enough. It needs to be probably at least 3,000, I think, to run this motor. But I'll show that on the schematics. So we'll just come down. That's that wire going to the inverter. Here's your negative to the inverter. Then your plug is just going to be down here. It's just going to be your regular plug off the motor. So we're that big enough inverter to run it. It's a 3/4 horsepower motor. I'll get over to the side and show you the pulley sizes. But this AC Delco alternator, it is just, so you used to have three wires going in. You have a field, it's kind of upside down in the middle there. FLD, ground, which have the orange wire coming out of, and then your standard power wire, which I have a standard alternator wire coming off of here going to the positive. Came off of BMW. I think this is 4 gauge, if I'm not mistaken. It doesn't say on there, the bigger the gauge. This is just 16 gauge automotive wire going to the switch. The switch for the FLD, or the field, that energizes the field. This is also the main trick here. I don't use a regulator. This is an old, I'll link what the alternator goes to, or what the alternator is. I think it goes to like a 70s something Ford truck. I think it's only like 63 amp. You can get bigger ones like I had for my Camaro. Actually, this is way before the Camaro. This was one of the first alternators I worked with. Yep, just drop right there. Get one of these. I've removed. That's what I removed, the regulator. But you can get one that's a one wire. We just have that big main wire going in, and then you do have to ground it, because they don't really ground to the chassis here well. But then that would be your only wires. These are 100 and I think this one's only a 90 something, but the newer ones are 105 amp. The main thing is just getting it to spin. This one I've tried to convert over to 120 with the magnets, with the big neoprene magnets in there. I hadn't been successful with that. Of course, I didn't have this set up yet. I may try it on this setup. See, that's eventually what I'm going to do, is do 220 right into my breaker for emergency. I'll link a video to that as well. But back to this. So off of my other power, I just have marine cables on here for now until I get this all tied in. But this 16 gauge car wire going through. You have a 30 amp fuse here, But it should have a diode. That's why I put the fuse in case there's any surge back. But so far I haven't had anything blow back. And that's what goes to my switch to energize the field. So I can turn it on and off. That would be what your key does in your car. And then just the ground. I have ground there. The orange wire going back to the ground, and just the other ground. It's just that. Get this out of there. Set it over here for a minute. And so I'll move this because this isn't fire. Then just my other ground going to there. And that's it. Then over on this side, it's a little cold out here. It's 32 degrees outside. So snow on the cars outside. But that's another reason I wanted to get started on this, because there's actually more emergencies. Ooh, I might have to move a breaker. Okay, the top one on the right, you'll replace your top right, or well, on this one, depends on what yours is. Make a breaker switch that's going to be your N. Of course, I got all this paneling to deal with, but it'll go up once that's won't engage until your main is off, so you can't send something back if there was a storm and there was like a power line down or something, so you couldn't hurt somebody out. And this is the law, so they have a, when this breaker goes on, that has to be off, but I haven't installed that, so I'll have to move. What is that? Well, that's the air conditioning. Oh, bummer. I'll have to move. Those are all full. So I might have to get an electrician now. But anyway, back to this, because it has the two pulleys. It's just an old wood lathe from the 1980s, but they make new ones. Harbor Freight, I think, even sells them. I don't know if you like this, but all you really need, they have the pulleys like this at Tractor Supply, and I'm on the third pulley here, and I'm on the end pulley here. So I can only give you an estimate on what my RPMs are right now, because if I get you in here, middle pulley is 1560 RPM, but the outward pulley is 3580, and with slack and stuff, I think I'm more around like 2000 or so. Then I gotta move my switch back. Then I'm gonna, they make the brackets for the cars. I just thought about this. This is how I used to do it. They make the brackets for the cars, the metal brackets, to mount these, and I can mount when I go all metal. But that's the key to achieving the power, because these old ones, you would actually be putting power in through here and then going into the field wire here, and I removed that because you'd only be putting in around 3 volts going in. I'm putting in the 12 or 13 going in, and that's how I'm able to get the high numbers. Plus, with the, you gotta have the RPMs. You gotta have, like I said, I think I'm doing about 2,000 to 2,500 RPM. I actually could slow it down. I'm actually producing too much power for this system going in. Once I get my other inverter, I think what I'll do is, instead of regulating it going in there, though, I will regulate the power going into the inverter so I don't blow the inverter. So that's it. I'll take you through it. So we're just positive battery in there to the inverter. Just say I have the 300 3000 is what I need. So then this is actually backwards. How I drew it. The motor setup maybe backwards, but so the pulley coming off the motor that the belt's on is a 2.5-inch pulley. Then the middle pulley that's on the spindle is a 3.25 inch. This is approximate measurement, not including the bend down in the V. But the smaller your pulley, the faster you're going to spin. And then I just have a standard. That's just a standard automotive pulley. There. Let's see if I have the tape. I might not even have a tape measure. But it's just, that's the standard automotive pulley. I think it's also 3 inch. Let's see. I got like 14. Tape measure. Yeah, I'll get a measurement of that. I'll put that in the description. So there you go. They're just V-belt. V-belts. This belt here is 3/8 by 36 inch. Of course, whatever your length is. And so that's going to be the same thing. 3/8. But whatever yours is, I also have this. This one I bought at Harbor Freight. This is an old fan top unit for AC unit. And these spin pretty fast, and they have the capacitor on them. Or you could actually, like Tesla would use this is an old guitar. Actually, I come out of a Hammond B organ. But that preamp and coming through the tubes will also rectify your energy from AC to DC. But these small pulleys, these were cheap, and they have a little. They just have a little set screw. You screw in their V-belt. Let's see what it says. This is a 250A, made in USA, Chicago diecast. I haven't ran this one yet. I have to look up the wiring. I was actually going to use that to make a mini bike drive motor out of. But I have the. This plate. Nope, there's. I have the capacitor. You could actually. I don't have the wiring. You could actually use a capacitor to run and jump that off a small voltage. I could look that up. This capacitor may have something in it, so I'm gonna set it down. They discharge that. Replace the AC. I'll go ahead and fire this up. I haven't turned it on today. Again, I don't have my new power inverter. I have to work some extra shifts to get that. So, but I think we can all agree that if I did have enough big enough inverter, that I could get that motor to go. It'll start to go. Actually, that's what I'm gonna do. There's another. I could put another pulley on that to put another alternator there, and I'm gonna switch this around to go long ways. I think I'm gonna go ahead and take that off, or I have to cut, and then I'm gonna drive one off of that going the other way to get my 240 to put in for emergency power, and that'll be enough to run the furnace and things like that. Because it's just 110 that runs the furnace. Because that well, I have a gas furnace, so it takes 110 to heat and ignite the furnace blowers. So yeah, so I'll turn it on. And then I've just had, and then I'm gonna put my voltmeter and some different meters in. Um, there is this particular one. There's a tack down here, tack. So once I get a tachometer, I'll be able to tell you all how much RPMs I am running. You have to be over 1,000 to start producing anything in these automotive alternators, unless you modify them. Like solar, some of the solar ones, and those permanent magnet ones. Which I was trying to build, but if you don't build them exactly right, you won't get the results that you see on there. So, uh, just like this, I had this. The belt was loose, and I wasn't producing any power, and it's just like a car. If your belt's loose, it's gonna produce no power. So then I just had my. Just, 12. At 12, just leave this here. See this. I am going to plug, and of course, I don't have, because I don't have my big enough inverter, I will have to plug this into the wall to city power. But if I had a big enough inverter, and if anyone wants to help me to buy that, get my GoFundMe or something, because it'll take me, just pizza delivery guy, it'll take me forever to. But, whatever, I'll save up more for have to. And go. And then flip. So I'll plug this in. If I had, let's say, a big enough inverter, I'd be plugging into the inverter. Oops. There, just kick the switch on to the field. It takes us a minute to start rising. It's a little low. The battery is built the memory for low. It should be at a over 13. That might be even a 13 now. So I think I need to adjust the belt again because it's 30-degree got cold. So it's still charging. Right. Should already be at 14. Let me just so I just got it. Just show you guys. Whoa! Sorry about that. You went flying, didn't you? That's it. That's it. see, I just got the clamp now. Clamp down a little bit. There. Don't say, oh, it'll work. Let's see. Super tight on this thing. Let's see first. It's probably working with it. This way. Pull it tight and stuff. Pull it out. See what we got there. That's pretty tight. See what we got. Oh, yeah. Oh, we're taking it this week. Belt losing so, where you go tear things down, just like a car. See the belt's taken. still backwards. Walking around. Losing the cars up there. Probably be bad right there. Well, it's flopping pretty good. Backwards will flopping. Maybe once it heats up. Still. Even with that flopping. 14. Well, we done this. I might have to move the belt over to shut it in. Like I said, I might have to put a regulator in to regulate. It's 14. 5's fine for that battery. So that's a BMW battery. It's set at 13.9, I think, when I bought it. Some that they won't all like that smaller one next to it. It's just a 12 volt with 13 volts. I got that same 12 volt. Well, that's not balanced at all. Shaking